Today we're going to discuss conversions within the metric system. These conversions can sometimes be confusing, but they follow some simple rules, and once you master these rules, you'll be doing them in no time. To convert from one unit to another, you have to answer two questions. The first question is, are you going up or down in size? If you're going from a larger unit to a smaller unit, you will need to multiply to get your answer, so that means your answer will be larger. If you're moving from a smaller unit to a larger unit, you'll need to divide. Again, your final answer will be smaller. The best way to visualize this is by thinking about a meter stick. On that meter stick, you have the centimeter ticks, and then within the centimeters, you have the millimeters. The second step is to determine the number of steps you need to move to get from one unit to another. I have drawn a handy ladder below for a visual guide until you get more familiar with the units and their power. Remember that each step or rung on this ladder is equal to a tenfold change. So the answer to this question tells you how much you need to multiply or divide by. All right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So let's start off with a pretty easy one, converting millimeters to meters. This is nice because you can easily visualize this in your mind or even physically by looking at a meter stick. So we're moving from a bigger to smaller or smaller to bigger. Okay, well, millimeters are smaller than meters, so we're moving from smaller to bigger. So the number will be getting smaller. Our answer will be getting smaller. The second question, of course, is how much smaller? Okay, so if you look at our ladder here, we're going to move 3 steps down from meters to millimeters. So we're going to need to take 350, divide that by 1,000, and we get 0.35 meters. Remember that you don't need to grab your calculator for this particular question. All you need to do is remember that when you're dividing by 10, you're going to move that decimal place 1 space to the left, for each multiple of 10. All right, let's try one that's a little bit more complicated. Let's start with something that's big to small. Okay, so here we have 350 millimeters, converting these to micrometers. Since we will now be using smaller units, the measurement units of measurement, the answer will be getting bigger. Okay, so we're going to need to multiply. The question, of course, is how much are we going to need to multiply? Okay, well, millimeters is equal to 10 to the minus 3. Micrometers are equal to 10 to the minus 6. This is a difference of 1,000. Again, if you cannot visualize that in your head, look at the diagram here. It's 3 steps. So to answer this question, we're going to need to multiply 350 times 1,000, and we get 350,000 micrometers. Again, you can write this in scientific notation, 3.5 times 10 to the 5th, if you wish. All right, let's try to answer a couple on our own. Here we have 125 micrograms being converted to milligrams. The first thing you're going to want to do is, do you have to multiply or divide? Again, check the diagram. And then finally, by how much? Take a couple of seconds and try to answer it yourself. You should see that you need to divide since you're moving to larger units, right? Millimeters or milligrams is upstream of micrograms. And you're moving 3 steps, so you're dividing by 1,000. So your final answer should be 0.125 milligrams. All right, how about 0.0004 centimeters to micrometers? Again, let's follow the steps. First thing, do I have to divide or multiply? By how much? Use the diagram below to see if you can answer this yourself. From the diagram, you see that you are moving to a smaller unit. you're also moving 1, 2, 3, 4 steps. So to do this, you need to answer this question. You need to take 0.0004 and multiply it by 10,000. Your answer should be 4 micrometers. All right, let's give this one a shot. 1,250 microliters gives you how many milliliters? This is a pretty common conversion in science, where we often go from microliters to millimeters, or milliliters, and milliliters back to microliters. This is pretty common. So again, do we need to multiply or divide? And then how much? See if you can use the diagram below to answer the question. So you see that you're going from micro to milli. You're going from a small unit to a big unit, so we need to divide. Divide by how much? We're moving 3 steps, so 1,000. As a result, our final answer is 1.25 milliliters. All right, let's do a big one here. Let's do one final one where we're looking at nanometers to millimeters. Nanometers is a very small unit of measure that's usually reserved for subcellular particles, viruses, and things. So this is another pretty common conversion that you see in science. So again, to answer this, do we multiply or divide? And by how much? Again, check the diagram to see if you can answer this question on your own. From this diagram, we can see that we're going from nanometers to millimeters. So we're going to take 6 jumps, 6 steps. So 6 steps is equal to 1 million. Okay, we're going from small to big, so we need to divide by 1,000,000. So the final result is 0.00003 millimeters, or 3.0 times 10 to the minus 5. Well, that concludes the short video. I hope that this has been a helpful video. Remember, when converting between units, all you need to do is answer the 2 questions: which direction and how many steps, and that should get you to the answer.